Welcome. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It helps spread the word and helps make more of these videos possible. If you like this video even more, you can make a recurring donation via Patreon or a one-time donation via Ko-fi. The links are all in the description below. Enjoy the video. All right, this is Karia, and I have another video for you today. I am super excited. Today I will be doing my top 10 desert island picks of the coloring books that I would take on a desert island. This is a tag. I've never done a tag before, so bear with me if I'm doing this wrong. All right, let's get started. So I'm just going to set these aside. Actually, I'm going to start with these here, and then I'm just going to slowly move them over. So the first one I would bring... and these are in no particular order. They're just in the order that I put them in a stack. So I would bring Magical Dawn by Hanna Karlzon. And I went through a couple of pages in this book. You guys know I'm super slow in completing pages, but I really enjoy this book. Even though it is double-sided, I have a strong preference for single-sided books with perforated pages because I use a lot of water media, and that's just the easiest way for me. But I want to show you something else that I did in this book because I hope I can find it. All right, I might not be able to find it, but this book was a lot of fun. Oh, here it is. I did this with Albrechter watercolor pencils. Let's see another one. This was done with Pitt pens and one more. Hold on, let me see. There was another one, and I hope that I don't lose track of it. Oh, gosh darn it. This was done with the Museum Aquarelle. And I was really proud of myself because I did this with just 12 colors. And so I was quite proud of myself to have been able to do this with such few colors. But anyway, this is a book that I would bring with me just because it, even though it is double-sided and not perforated, it still handles water media really well, and it only buckles a little bit, and it also handles other mediums like colored pencil and watercolor pencil just fine. So I'd be able to use whatever I had with me for this book. Oh, let me show you this other one. This is another one. This was done with a mix of Albrechter and Inktense, and it's still not finished because you guys know how I am. I always have like 20 million works in progress. The next book I would bring with me is and there'll be a link to all the reviews as well as where to purchase all of these books down in the description below. Anyway, this is Georgie Woolridge. This is another book I would bring with me, even though I haven't finished any pages. I've done partial pages, but I haven't finished any pages, just because I like this style. And once again, this is a book that takes water media really well. And there's all kinds of fishes here. This is Albrechter watercolor pencil with Polychromos overlays. And what I like about this book is that she gives you information on whatever you're coloring on this side right here. So so this book is really good for that. So so this is another book I would take with me. This is Nightfall by Maria Toole. I don't know why I said Maria Toole. Mary is my fake name when I go to Starbucks because my name is Karia, and I have seen it spelled and pronounced in all kinds of ways, and it's just easier to just have Mary be my fake Starbucks name, and everyone is happy for it. And I've only gotten a handful of misspellings with Mary, so that's been fun. So, I mean, I would basically bring any one of the Mary Toole books, but, you know, I would pick this one because this one would be a little bit of a challenge with a black background, which I'm totally not familiar with. But there's a lot of stuff to do here. There's flowers, you get your animals, and, of course, I like her style. This is one of the ones that I really want to do. So, so this would be another book that I would bring, and I think we're at number 4 is Mermaids. I think that Jasmine Becket-Griffith, I think she's got 3 coloring books out, and she has a lot of art. Oh, and she signed my copy, which is pretty awesome. And that's part of the reason why I haven't taken this book apart. But there's so much art. I get to practice my skin tones here, as well as practicing my non-traditional tones here as well. And once again, this also takes water media as well as taking colored pencil, markers, and all those other mediums. So so this is another book that I would bring. There's a lot, it's a really interesting. Hold on, let me see if I can show you some of this art. It's a really interesting style. It's a really unique style in the coloring world. I don't know anyone else who has a style quite like this one, so I really like her style for these books. So this is another one that I would bring. So at this point, I'm going to pause, get the rest of the books, and I will be right back. All right, we are back. This is the next book I would bring, and this would probably be my only colored pencil only book. This is Enchanted Faces by Hanna, Lynn, and it is a half-size book, and I really wish there were more half-size books, because when I'm doing colored pencil only, you guys know colored pencil is such a slow medium that I really prefer half-size books. But a lot of the half-size books are basically just a full-size book shrunk down, and that can make it really hard to get into the tiny spaces. So I really wish there were more half-size books that were designed to be half-size books from the beginning. Because then you can get into everywhere, and everywhere is accessible. And I've done this with all sorts of various mediums. I think to date, this is probably my favorite Hanna Lynn piece. This was done with the Luminance watercolor pencils, which I realize is excessive, but I needed it for the review. I had a lot of fun with this page. This is probably one of my favorite ones that I have done in the Hanna Lynn style, but I wanted to show you guys this, and you guys have seen the flip through. Anyway. So this would be another book that I would bring with me. It would be The Enchanted Faces by Hanna Lynn. Romantic Country. Now, this is an interesting story. When I first reviewed Romantic Country, I don't think I was quite as fond of it. I think that I was a little bit, I don't know, I wasn't really that fond of it because it really struggled to take colored pencil and watercolor pencils, or at least it struggled to take my Polychromos. And I had to press really hard, and I didn't want to press really hard. They're not the softest of pencils, and I think that that's probably why. However, I did discover that it does really well with watercolor, even though it is double-sided, which is whatever, but it is what it is. Are some of these backwards? I feel like some of these are backwards. No, some of these are backwards. See, what I did is I removed the binding on these books, and that makes it easier for me to tape down and then use whatever water media I want to use, and I don't have to worry about it. So this was done. I think this is like Sennelier. Anyway, so yeah, so I taped them down. I remove the binding and I tape them down, and that way I can use the watercolor medium of my choice, and I don't have to be, restrained by anything else. I've taken to preferring water media just because it's legit way faster than colored pencil, and at least for me, because if you guys have seen my color along, and there'll be another one this Tuesday at 1:20 p.m. Is that I am such a slow colorist, and I do so many layers that I really prefer those smaller books. But for large books like this, I definitely prefer to use some kind of water media. It's just faster that way. And the flip side of removing the binding is that it can be a little bit of a mess to put everything together, but we did it. So anyway, this is Romantic Country. All right, so that's over here. Oh, and I don't think I showed you completed pages. This was done with a mix of the Daniel Smith and Sennelier, and I had so much fun with this. As you can see, I struggled a little bit to get the trees just right, but it was a great learning experience trying to do huge washes with on this paper. That is a little bit challenging, but it also is it's really been a really fun learning experience for me. So anyway, and I did this in literally like 2 or 3 nights. Like, this took like almost no time at all to do this. This took a little bit longer because this one was done with Inktense and Albrechter watercolor pencils. And I really enjoyed this. Of course, I reviewed the Inktense and the Albrechter watercolor pencils. So there'll be links to all that down in this. There's going to be a lot of links in this video. I think I may not even be able to fit all of those links. That's how many links are going to be in there. So if I can't fit all of those links, you can go to my channel page and search for any video that you want to see that I can't link to. This is Joanna's Christmas, which I enjoyed. I really like this book. Now, I was torn between this one. Oh, this was done with the Holbein. I think this is the Holbein. Yep, this is the Holbein Artist Watercolor Paints, and I was torn between this one and Magical Jungle, and I think, I mean, this one is single sided, but I think I'd probably do either this one or two copies of Magical Jungle. But those are probably the two of her books that I would take, again, because they take all the mediums really well, for these large size books. All right, we're getting almost to the end. Almost to the end. All right, let's see. This is Tropical World. Now, about this one, this is probably the only one that I don't have the book. Okay, so you're saying but you have the book. Okay, so I would bring the Tropical World. Oh, and by the way, this was Johanna's Christmas by Johanna Basford. But anyway, this is Tropical World by Millie Marotta, and I would bring this book, except that I would bring the edition that I don't have. I would bring the artist edition, which is amazing, and I've done the review of the two artist editions that I have, and there'll be a link to one of them up there. It is amazing. It's super thick. It's double-sided. I mean, it's single-sided, and it's just a big sort of display portfolio kind of a book. And in addition to being like really heavily bound, there's additional pages that you can take out in the back and do. Of all her books, this is my favorite, but it is also the only one that I don't have in that deluxe edition. So that kind of sucks, but that's the one that I would bring if I had it. If not, I probably would bring Animal Kingdom in the deluxe edition, assuming that there was no weight limits to what I could bring in this desert island, because this stack is pretty heavy. The last one is a book I'm not sure if a lot of people have heard about it. I think I'm probably one of the few people who've done a review of this book. This is Search for the Lightbulb Burglar, and it's a fascinating book. This is one of the most unique books that I have reviewed of all the books that I have seen. And so what this book is a story told in pictures. So it starts with the pictures, and then it tells you a story using the pictures. I think this one was here. So this one was here, and this is done with Cotman student grade watercolor paints, and I did a review for that too. And this is done with the Koh-i-Noor tritone pencils, which I really was surprised at how much I enjoyed the tritone pencils. Anyway, as you can see, these are super thick pages, and they're single-sided, they're perforated. I mean, this is just the gem of coloring books. The story is really interesting, so it follows this story. Now, I do wish that there was at least maybe here on the side right here a little bit of a description of what's going on, because I did struggle a little bit to follow it, but that's just me, because sometimes I just struggle with these things. So anyway, so this is a book, but this is a really, really enjoyable book. Like you saw, it takes colored pencils, it takes a markers, well, not as well for markers because it's a little bit of a tooth paper, but it does take watercolor paints and colored pencils really well. So this is a book that I would definitely bring with me on an island, and I would have a lot of fun with this book. And the last book is going to cause probably some controversy, but I hope not, because I think, this is like what we would bring, like what kind of coloring we would bring with us. And the last one that I would bring with me is my Strathmore Mixed Media 90-pound cotton watercolor journal. And I really love this. I use this for swatching, making swatches. I absolutely love making swatches. I have used watercolor paints. This whole page was done with watercolor paints. Was this really done using just those two colors? That's crazy. I'm pretty sure it was actually. Oh, that's great. Anyway, so you can see that this is, but to me, I started coloring and I learned to draw, which I use in quotations because I can't really draw that well. This is my drop spin, though. I did learn to draw a little bit so that I could have more things to color. So for me, drawing is about getting around to coloring this. So I haven't decided what I'm going to color this with. So to me, that's really all it is. It's about drawing so that I can color something. And that's it, this, and I think I'm starting to get, even in my drawing bits, I'm starting to get a little bit of that whole incomplete and not really completing stuff. So anyway, yeah, and this is me trying to learn to draw animals, and I have been struggling with the bunny, so I think eventually I quit the bunny and I moved on to some of the other ones. This is the panda that I did this with Albrecht watercolor pencils, and I did this with Swiss colored pencils, and I think there's some more. This is some homemade tortillas, frijoles fritos, and queso blanco that my mom made, and this is going to be a llama, and I think I might do some more llamas and some more stuff in the background. But anyway, so this would be the last one that I would bring, and I'd bring the multimedia one just because this one can take pencil, colored pencil, whatever. As you guys have seen, that's sort of the theme of mine is to be able to take as many mediums as possible. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and thank you so much to the person who started the tag. All right, thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to stay for the cat video. Bella was being very bad, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Stuff like this slows down the process. This is you fighting against process. Don't knock that paper over. Bella. Choco kitty. Oh, Choco kitty. Oh, come on. Don't sit down. Don't do it.